Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Welsh Premiership podcast. For those of you new here, go and check out our previous videos on this YouTube channel and on Twitter at Welsh Prem Pod. Today we're joined by Newport RFC head coach Tyron Morris. Ty, how you doing? How are you getting on?
Yeah, really good, thank you. Nice to meet you guys. I can't complain. Everyone's safe and well in the family, so yeah, it's all good my end.
So to kick off then, Newport finished the season in 8th last year, and we had a few games in hand and you went far off the top 6. What did you make of it as a whole though?
Yeah, it was quite a challenging season prior to the COVID. I think we had a very tough start. First month we had Merthyr, Carmarthen, Aberavon, Ebbw Vale. I think we started well, beat Ebbw Vale, and then we finished that or followed that with 4 losses then. So we had a fair amount to do leading up to Christmas. But in fairness, we had a review around December time and sat down and picked a few bones out of what we needed to work on, and we turned it around in January. I think we had 4 out of 5 wins into January before the COVID stopped us on our run, really.
And also you just mentioned your run before COVID and you was pushing the top 6, but was there any standout team performances for you?
Yeah, I think we really ground at what we struggled in previous seasons is getting that dogfight, with teams like Bridgend, and so this year with Ebbw Vale down the bottom. But we always seem to come unstuck with the teams down the bottom end. But I think grinding out that win, last minute kick, I think Matt O'Brien knocked over, really stuck out in my mind from a defensive performance more than anything. It's one that stuck out.
And looking towards next year now, obviously when the season does go ahead, what's the team's aim?
I think we've always been ambitious that we want to be in that top 4, and I think with that Anglo League top 6 that was available last year, I'm not sure if moving forward it will be, but we've got to be aiming for that top 4, and we've recruited quite well in being ambitious in order to get into that top 4 again.
And you've made numerous signings up front. There's a few names: Ben Roach from Wales Sevens. You've got Jack Gilding and Will Griffiths all come in. What do you expect from them?
Yeah, we sat down. We realised that we needed to bring a little bit of youth in, as well as targeting our expansive play in the way we like to play, and bringing people like Ben Roach in from the Sevens, Cam Lewis. They suit us, ideally in exactly how we want to approach the attack. And then with Will, he had 1 or 2 sessions with us last year from the academy, and I was super impressed with his attitude. And the opportunity to bring him in was guaranteed for us, so we had to take that up. Again with Jack, just from his experience, we knew that he's going to strengthen up our set piece. Yeah, but we brought in 8 players altogether, and I think it's strengthened us definitely.
So last season, what were your thoughts on the standard of the Premiership in general?
I thought it was really good. They clipped down from 16 to 12, and I think that, although it was tough on the 4 that went down, I do think that it strengthened it. And each week was challenging. Everyone was capable of beating anyone. I know Cardiff was running away with it, but in all honesty, we had opportunities to beat them. We had, Merthyr was winning games here, there, and everywhere, and we managed to turn them over. So yeah, it's a challenging league. I think having home and away and a relegation is definitely something to fight for, and definitely something that we need in there. Personally, I think that we should be using it as a bit more a tool to develop the academy players or the potential pro players around the regionals. And I know we're on our front at Newport, we're probably not using it as I think we should do, developing those academy players. They need to be playing week in, week out, in my opinion. And I think that Premiership can be used as a good tool for that.
Yeah, so that leads on to my next question. And obviously the Premiership has changed from 16 teams down to 12 teams with 1 up, 1 down now. Do you think we finally got the right structure?
Yeah, I do. I think having a relegation battle and something to fight for it definitely gives a more intense atmosphere around the games. Again, you know, each week, no matter where you're playing, down the bottom half of the table or up the top, everyone's capable of beating anyone. And I think we seem to have found the right structure in place now, in my opinion. Yeah.
So, do you think the Premiership is better for the youngsters instead of, you know, teams like Merthyr? They've, you know, splashed loads of money on trying to win the league. Do you think it's better off using the league as just a development tool for future regional players?
Yeah, I think it needs to start from the top, the union, the regional teams. It needs to be right down through the community game, really, that we need to sit down together and collaborate, that each and one of us are there to develop players. And, you know, solely that's what I'm doing as a coach. But as a club, we want to be developing those academy players to step into a professional contract and hopefully to move on into an international contract. And I'm a big believer in all part of my coaching is that someone leaves my club in a better place, whether it's due to myself or other coaching staff or other members or even players. And we're really hoping to, you know, develop players. So, yeah.
So in general, what do you think the main aim of the Premiership is?
I think there needs to be an understanding through, as I said before, through regional, international regional Premiership and the community game to what we're trying to achieve in the Premiership. And my opinion is that, you know, it should be used for these youngsters to come through and develop experience, playing week in, week out. Having academy players playing academy players is non-beneficial, I feel. You know, when you get to 2021 and they're thrown in against senior players to develop and learn different experiences, they could have learned that in the Premiership. Well, I really do feel, you know, a lot of the teams in the Premiership are all, you know, thinking down that route as well. But there's just lack of communication, in my opinion, around what we're trying to achieve in our Premiership. And there's a lack of leadership from the top, really.
Do you think there's like enough quality and experience in the Premiership for all those young boys to like learn quickly into men's rugby, let's call it?
Yeah, I'll just take our team, for example. You know, you've got Jack Gilden, you know, ex-Worcester, he's played the pro game. He's going to teach, you know, an academy loose head, you know, maybe little things, or even a academy tight head that's with us. He's going to learn from him, even in training sessions, one-to-ones. You know, Reece Downs, people in our team and the other teams that have just stepped down from the pro game, who I believe can still teach the youngsters.
And then finally from me then, who are the best team you've come across in the Premiership?
Well, I think by a country mile leading off was Cardiff. I think they had the right setup in their attack. Very powerful game. Some big players. You know, their captain at 8 was almost unstoppable for us, Morgan, against us, Morgan. Again, you know, Llandovery have played some outstanding rugby from, you know, I analysed teams and they've put some beautiful rugby together, and we managed to beat them at home. So, yeah, but I would say from last going off, I think Cardiff had it spot on.
And a little bit on you then. Your playing career was ended at 28 with a knee injury. Was that tough to take? And did it help you mentally, the fact that you got to go into coaching then and you didn't have to step away from rugby in its entirety?
Yes, it did. I think when I was playing pro up at Ebervale, I even started coaching then on the Ebervale youth once a week. Although I wasn't there on the Saturdays, helping out in the evenings, and I knew straight away that I felt quite passionate that I was going to go into coaching at some point. It was a little bit sooner than I anticipated, but yeah, I had 2 or 3 bad knee injuries, which I knew, you know, it was the end of my career really then. And I stepped down to go into player coach at Risca. It was just an easy transition from there, really.
And you mentioned you were a player coach and then a coach at Risca, going from Division 5 to Division 1 East in 6 years. How was that for you? Do you think that's one of your best achievements?
Yeah, I think it was. Our goal was really to build a culture and a family atmosphere at the club. We was psychologically becoming stronger as a group, and we didn't really pull in, players from everywhere. It was more about, the local players and wanting to play. We had 2 teams running, and that competitive edge of first and second, against each other, really drove us on, and become a really good club to be at. And it was very good to be involved in.
And do you have any ambitions to take your coaching career further?
Yeah, I take each season as it comes. When you're coaching at the high level in the Premiership, it can quickly turn around. But all I'm interested in really is just improving myself, improving the team, and improving the players. And as long as I'm continuing to learn, if something comes along, something comes along. If it doesn't, then I just keep progressing my career really.
I know Haid mentioned your time at Risker there, but obviously there was plenty of back-to-back promotions. Was there a secret recipe involved there? Or?
I think it was a little bit of luck, if I'm completely honest. They'd done a bit of a chopping and changing season where we jumped the league and we didn't even get promoted. But there's no secret recipe to it really. Since my latter coaching years, I've really found it fascinating around the psychological side of things and building confidence in players. Early doors, it was very technical. But as I said, now later on, I think throughout that process through Risker, I really developed that part of the communication and the bond between players and coaches and getting the best out of people. So I think that's probably had a good value to why we were successful, really.
And before I start the quiz, who are some of the best players you've actually played with or you've coached?
There's probably a couple of players some people may not have heard of, but my time at Crosskeys, I captained them for a while. And 2 back row forwards that stood out for me was Steve Gardner and Rhys Williams. I think they both played 6 and 8, and they were consistently excellent every week. In a time I felt was a physical league back then. They were definitely standout players for me.
And got a teammates quiz here and for you. Who's the worst dressed teammate or player you've played with?
I'm probably going to go from a current team at Newport. I think there's some absolute pearlers out there at the moment. The boys are wearing skinny jeans, rolled up boat shoes and whatnot. And I think Andrew Mann has to win that for us each week. Although he does have the physique to pull it off and the haircut, he's definitely best dressed or worst dressed, if you want to say.
And who's the best drinker you've seen?
Oh, hands down, that's Stuart Lawrence, the assistant coach. He's got me in a lot of troubles over the past 4 or 5 years. He seems to be, 1 pint or 15 pints, I can't tell a difference. He's still talking normal.
And that leads me on to who's a liability on a night out?
Oh, don't really want to name names. It's probably myself, actually. By the end of the night, I'm usually the one that's causing trouble, thanks to Stuart.
And it's the best changing room DJ you've had there?
Oh, I'm probably not the best to be asking about current music, especially with the genres. I like a little bit of country and western and things, so I can't imagine the boys being too happy with my selection. I can definitely tell you the worst. That's Joe Bartlett. He's had the DJ a couple of times, and I'm sure he had to take that on at one point in the team.
And out there, all the players you've got there, or players you've played with, who's the 2 you'd most want to be stuck on a desert island with, and the one you'd least want to be stuck on a desert island with?
I'm going to go for coaching the part of our physio staff, Jeremy Williams, for this one. He's got some of the best stories I've ever heard. I could sit with him for hours and hours and hours. Ex-Navy, he's been to America. He told me stories about Pele, Neil Diamond. Unbelievable stories, unbelievable. So I wouldn't want to be on there with probably Stuart. If there was a load of rum on there, I wouldn't want to be stuck on the island with him.
Sounds like he gets you in quite a bit of trouble, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He does.
All right then, cheers for coming on, Ty. Yeah, for those of you who have watching for your first time, or maybe haven't seen us at all, check us out on Twitter at WelshPremPod, and our other episodes. See you soon.
Thank you, guys.